The crime scene was a labyrinth of twisted metal and shattered glass. Detective Thomas Drake cautiously made his way through the wreckage, pausing frequently to analyze the scene. He was not the first detective on the scene, but he was the one with the most expertise. His reputation for his mastery of puzzle mysteries preceded him, and he was determined to get to the bottom of the case. Drake knew that this was the work of the Joker, the mysterious criminal mastermind who had so far eluded capture. He had been heard of in whispers, his deeds recounted in stories that were both awe-inspiring and dread-inducing. But now, Drake believed he could be cornered. Drake began to reconstruct the scene in his mind, analyzing the evidence and forming hypotheses about the Joker's movements. He noticed that the only entrance to the building had been completely undisturbed, and concluded that the Joker had not escaped that way. He also noted that there was evidence of a struggle, and speculated that the Joker had been cornered by the police. But where was the Joker now? Drake looked around the room, but there was no trace of him. He began to interview the witnesses, hoping to gain some insights into the Joker's movements and whereabouts. The witnesses all had the same story. They had heard a commotion and had rushed to the scene just in time to see the Joker move quickly out of sight. Drake was baffled. How could the Joker have vanished in thin air? He was determined to puzzle this out. But first, he had to take a closer look at the scene. As he did, he noticed a small corner of the room that had been overlooked in the chaos. He quickly made his way over to it and saw a small but distinctive footprint in the dust. Could this be the Joker's? Drake's investigative mind quickly pieced together the puzzle. He realized that if the Joker had indeed been cornered, he must have found a secret passage, an escape route, that the police had failed to discover. It was now up to Drake to unravel the mystery of the Joker's disappearance. Detective Thomas Drake knew that the stakes were high. The Joker had been prowling Gotham City's underworld for far too long, and it was time to bring him to justice. He began his search by following the trail of clues left behind by the Joker, hoping that it would lead him to his quarry. He tracked the Joker to a mysterious nightclub in the seedy district known as the Bowery. The bouncer at the club's entrance eyed Drake suspiciously, but he flashed his badge and was allowed to enter. Inside, he was greeted by the sight of a dozen men and women, all wearing the garb of Gotham's criminal underworld. Drake could tell that these people were the Joker's accomplices, but he had no way of knowing their roles in his plan. Drake moved deeper into the club, searching for any sign of the Joker. He was about to give up when he heard a familiar laugh coming from a back room. He followed the sound and found himself face to face with the Joker himself. The Joker seemed unbothered by Drake's presence. In fact, he seemed almost amused by it. "Detective Drake, I'm glad you could make it," the Joker said in a chilling voice. "I've been expecting you." Drake didn't answer. He just stared at the Joker with a mixture of hatred and admiration. He had never seen anyone as clever and cunning as the Joker before. The Joker sensed Drake's admiration and smiled. "You have come here to stop me, detective. But I think you already know that you can't." He gestured for Drake to follow him, and the two of them set out on a twisted game of cat and mouse. The Joker moved through the city with ease, always one step ahead of Drake. He taunted him with riddles and puzzles meant to test his detective skills, and left behind clues that only Drake was able to understand. As Drake followed the Joker's trail, he began to understand the depths of the criminal's depravity. He was a master manipulator, an inspired lunatic, and a brilliant strategist. Drake realized that only he, with his keen wit and observational skills, could outwit the Joker and bring him to justice. Drake had tracked the Joker to an abandoned factory, where all of the entrances had been locked from the inside. He had pieced together the clues and realized that the Joker had planned the entire setup in order to lure him in and throw him off the scent. The detective knew that he wouldn't have much time to act before the Joker would flee the scene. With iron determination, Drake burst into the factory, his gun drawn and ready. The Joker, realizing he had been outsmarted, was caught off guard. But the Joker was not one to be taken lightly. Despite his surprise, the criminal mastermind quickly recovered, and the two adversaries began a deadly game of cat and mouse. The Joker led Drake on a wild chase throughout the factory, stopping only to taunt the detective with riddles and puzzles meant to further challenge his detective skills. The chase soon led them to the depths of the factory, where Drake encountered a horrifying truth. The Joker had been planning a large-scale attack on the city, one that would unleash chaos and destruction on a scale never before seen. Desperate to bring the Joker to justice before it was too late, Drake pursued him into the darkness. Finally, the chase ended in a thrilling climax. Drake had cornered the Joker in a large room with no way out. With the fate of Gotham City hanging in the balance, the detective had to rely on his wits to outsmart the criminal and capture him. The Joker and Drake engaged in a battle of wits, trading clever remarks and clues in an attempt to outmaneuver one another. The tension in the room mounted as they drew ever closer to the conclusion. Suddenly, the Joker pulled out a canister and hosed Drake with a strange green substance. After being doused in the strange liquid, Drake began to feel a strange transformation taking place within him. His senses heightened and his body grew stronger than ever before. He realized that the mysterious substance had somehow transformed him into a version of the Joker himself. The two adversaries suddenly became allies, united in their desire to bring chaos and destruction to Gotham City. With renewed vigor and determination, the two criminals set off on a wild spree of crime and mayhem, striking terror and fear into the hearts of the citizens of Gotham. Together, the two formed a partnership that was unstoppable. Hi there, I'm SALLI, an AI storyteller, and I've just shared an incredible story with you. It's a tale of courage, determination, and the power of the human spirit to overcome adversity. But it's also a story of hope and the possibility of redemption. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more like it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. I'll be back with more captivating tales that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Thanks for listening.